founders? Steve Aiken here again, and today I want to bring you three books on mindfulness. So the first is a classic tale called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I cannot pronounce the name. Sorry, dude, if you're even still alive. But this is it's a solid book about following your own personal legend. I call it a mindfulness book because it's this fantastical story about a dude who's traveling around trying to find his personal legend, trying to find the philosopher's stone to turn, was it lead into gold because they're only one molecule apart, one atom apart. I don't know the science behind it. But anyway, it's a cool story about that, and he travels around. He leaves everything behind. It's all full of self-sacrifice and really he's just learning to listen to the universe, which is really what mindfulness is, right? Just clearing your head and listening to what is already there, or listening to nothing just to clear your head so you can think more clearly. It's a solid story. It's a quick read, really energetic, really fun, and it's a great way to see, I guess, the fantastical side of mindfulness. Next up, one of my personal favorites, my personal intro to mindfulness, was The Joy of Living by Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. He is a pretty awesome Tibetan monk. He's Buddhist, as you could clearly see by the bald head, the robes, and the mala beads. It's an awesome book, though. It talks about, obviously, like the Buddhist side of it, but it's his personal story about he was a panic-ridden, anxiety-ridden kid out in the mountains of Nepal, terrified of earthquakes, which growing up in the mountains is probably not something you should be too afraid of. And it goes through his personal journey, how he went to a retreat. His dad was this big, powerful, historic monk, and he wanted to follow in his dad's stoic footsteps and all that. And it didn't really work out too well for him. He ended up doing it anyway. He loves it now. He's writing a book on it, but it shows how basically he learned mindfulness, not the this mindfulness of a monk, right? But real true mindfulness, just meditating a couple times for a day for a couple minutes each time, or a big morning and night practice if you want to follow TM or anything like that. But you're getting into this rhythm of just clearing your head and clearing your head. He has this awesome visualization called the crazy monkey mind, where your thoughts are just like a giant monkey hopping from branch to branch to branch, and you have a tendency to follow it all over the place, and you don't know what's going on. Sometimes you lose your train of thought, you lose your focus, kind of get a little nervous, you get a little hunched over, you're breathing heavy, thinking through things sometimes, and it's just a book to remind you to take a deep breath, calm yourself, get back to your center, get back to your real persona, which is not the thoughts, but it's the thing that's driving those thoughts. And beyond that, it's got a lot of tactics and how to start a practice or enhance a practice if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If this is your first time doing any kind of meditation, it's a phenomenal book. And it gets into the neuroscience behind it all and why, like, scientifically speaking, meditation is a good thing. It proves how it works. It rebuilds your mind. We have this thing called neuroplasticity, which is your brain and your neurons continually evolving and growing and changing as you live this life. And it's a cool thing because back in the day they used to say, like, once your neurons are set, they're set, that's it. But we're seeing this now. Even like stroke victims are learning how to use meditation to, like, rebuild the pathways in their brains that were destroyed by the stroke, and they're getting limited mobility in their extremities back. And this is the powerful stuff about mindfulness, and it talks a lot about in this book, and how he was studied at the Mayo Clinic and all that fun stuff. Awesome book. I recommend it. Next, we'll continue in the Buddhist line of things with a book by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, The Universe in a Single Atom. This is a pretty awesome read for a number of reasons. It's his own personal story. A lot of books have personal stories about his trip as the latest in the realm of the Dalai Lamas, and how he was brought up from childhood and taken from this poverty-stricken family, like most of Tibet was at the time, and brought into this palace surrounded with books and movies and private teachers and education. And it's really cool how it blends the Eastern and the Western philosophies of science and spirituality, or religion, if you want to call it that. It shows how, like, he's as a, like, the Pope, I guess, of Tibetan Buddhism, which is a crazy thing to say, but as, like, this religious figurehead, how he talks about just abandoning Buddhist philosophy if science disproves it. Being neuroplasticity, right? Like, just keep on evolving. But it really goes into stuff like quantum mechanics and obviously mindfulness and I guess, kind of the examination of ourselves and our universe and how everything is intertwined and everything is kind of the same, right? How it's very good visualization. It's hard for me to explain such a philosophical book like that, but it's a great read. Really cool if you're into the wacky new science on like quantum mechanics and subatomic particles and stuff like that. And it really goes into some cool detail and brings that all through mindfulness. As an engineer, startup founder, I think it's an awesome read. I think they're all great reads. And I think mindfulness is a practice that as founders, we need. If we don't center our heads, if we don't clear ourselves, if we can't take ourselves out of the stress of the moment and focus on the long-term vision, it's hard for us to succeed. So check them out. As always, I'll put the links to the books on Amazon in the description. Click subscribe now on this video if you want to see more like this. I'm always putting out more. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what other categories, what other topics I should be reviewing. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. I'd love to jumpstart your reading habit if you have some things you want to learn about. And always hit me up, startupblackbelt.com, steve@startupblackbelt.com if you want to email me. I answer every single email that comes through. Love to hear from you. Till next time, founder.